All right, everybody, welcome back into Inside the Game podcast.
We are a soccer nation.
Have such a deep appreciation for hyper-local, community-based, lower-level soccer. There's going to be millions of fans over here that want to watch and consume as much football as they can.
What you are doing is important. And this is all about, like I said, spreading the gospel. It takes a village, right?
No, I just really appreciate being on here and you being able to provide this platform for, us and all those people grinding away at the lower leagues, just trying to make great things happen. So I really appreciate you, and you guys know what you're doing. And
All right, welcome into Inside the Game, episode 321. It is another massive day here on the National Soccer Network as we've got to recap one World Cup game, and then we got to preview the other World Cup semifinal game. My name's Ryan Glitzky. We got producer James Schofield in the building as well, making us look good on the internet. But we've got a great show lined up for all of you here today. And obviously, if you saw the watch party yesterday, we saw a thrashing of France. First time I have ever seen this France team look like that yesterday. But anyway, let's get into a rundown of what we have to talk about here today. We've got a recap of France versus Spain. Then we've got, is Kylian Mbappe a big-time player? Got a lot of numbers to back up what I have to say about that. And then breaking down England versus Argentina, a rivalry that is obviously being renewed yet again. And then if we have time for it, we do have a Balogun topic to get to. If not, we will get to that Balogun topic tomorrow. But if we have time for it, we will save for it. We will talk about it today. But anyway, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about France versus Spain, because I've got a lot of thoughts to talk about in this France versus Spain game, because what a game yesterday. That was a Spain brilliant display. I have not seen a game like that ever against a France side like that yesterday. They did exactly what I thought Arsenal was going to do in the Champions League final against PSG. However, Spain did it to France. And this is why I said what I said back in May, and Spain brought my thought process true. It just took a couple of months later, and not the team that I typically wanted it to be. But I guess I will take Spain beating all the French players. Spain did exactly what they needed to do to disrupt France. And it was clog up the middle, make sure they couldn't do anything in the midfield, which France couldn't do anything in the midfield to save their lives. And it was to kind of create some opportunities where the French superstars were in 2v1 opportunities, or 1v2 opportunities is what I should say, or they just tried to play it long over the top into their superstars and it didn't work. And then Spain outpossessed France. They outpossessed France in this game. That was something that I said yesterday leading up to the game, that was most likely going to happen. And that was the case 100% today. And when I looked at the Spain versus France game yesterday, Spain did exactly what they needed to do. Outpossess them, control the tempo, dictate the play. Did they get a little bit lucky that Digne didn't know how to clear a ball, or didn't know where his surroundings were at all? Yeah, I would say so. But France didn't threaten Spain's goal until like the 88th minute, the 89th minute. Like, they didn't threaten Spain at all. Like, those superstars, Doué, and I understood why Doué didn't start. I mean, I think Didier Deschamps expected to start Doué in the second half, because he probably thought they were going to get into extra time. But no in-game adjustments at all from Deschamps. No in-game adjustments from France. The only in-game adjustments they had was sub Doué in for Barcola and sub in Kone for Rabiot. That was the only one. And then Lacroix, obviously not the main center back as Saliba goes down. But after Saliba went down, I mean, France didn't do a whole lot. They looked a little bit shaky defensively. But Spain, that midfield of Rodri, Olmo, Baena, Lamal technically was in there as well, and Fabian Ruiz, they were fantastic. I mean, they did everything that they wanted to do. They could have done anything, and they just line-breaking passes everywhere, turn out of space. France didn't mark up at all in the midfield, and those guys just did whatever they wanted to do yesterday. It felt like France also lacked a little bit of toughness yesterday. They lacked a little bit of grit. It's almost like they may have gotten... by the way, if you want to get your thoughts in about the game or even the upcoming game, get them in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Just hit over 13,500 subscribers this morning, so shout out to you guys. Hit the like button, trying to get 5 here today. But when you watch the game back, the moment that the goals went in, you could just see a massive drop for France. You could see a massive drop. And after that Pedro Porro goal went in, I think France just threw in the towel, because there's I think something to be said about not facing any adversity at all in a World Cup. Like, I mean, France was told that their shit don't stink, and rightfully so. And all of a sudden, they get a little bit of adversity. They get punched in the mouth, and they couldn't bounce back at all. They couldn't do anything. You think about their run-in so far. Who do they have to play in the World Cup? Senegal, I thought, was a good test in the first one for them. Iraq, nothing really said about that match. And then Norway didn't even play their guys. And then you think, well, who'd they play in the round of 32? Sweden. I thought Isak and Gyökeres were horrible. Then you look at the round of 16, Paraguay. Tough match, I would say. Morocco, top 10 nation. Morocco didn't do anything at all. But they didn't do anything at all in this matchup. Like France did nothing. I watched and saw France players go through cardio sessions for 90 minutes yesterday. That's all they did. Like, legitimately, they did nothing to threaten the Spain goal. Spain had a defensive, and De La Fuente needs a lot of praise as well. They did a defensive masterclass. And I think the moral of the story is you need an overall team unit rather than individual superstars. And France had the individual superstars. Spain, I think, had the Lamine Yamal, and that was probably, and Rodri is of individually good talent. And that was really about it. But they were a better collective team unit. And that's what Spain did. That's how they won the Euros in 2024. And then that's why they also beat Spain last time in the Euros. They were just a more collective unit as one together. Oyekabal converted the PK. You had Lamine Yamal great in one-on-one opportunities. I thought they did a very good job of exposing him in one-on-one spots. Digne didn't know what to do to defend Lamine Yamal. You looked at the midfield. Again, France didn't mark up at all. Like, the moment that second goal went in, France didn't do anything. Like, they just gave up, and that's why I think they lack a little bit of toughness. And then you look at it, defensively in the back line, you've got to account for 4 superstars all over the place. And France didn't create, they didn't connect anything. That's why I thought they should have brought on Mateta, where I think that he could have created a little bit of a physical presence out there to man the ball a little bit. Maybe he holds up play a little bit, takes a little bit of space, and the defenders have to occupy him a little bit. That wasn't the case at all. Deschamps did absolutely nothing in in-game adjustments. And I think let's go to Didier Deschamps here for a second. Didier Deschamps should be in a lot of blame for what happened yesterday. No in-game adjustments. Mateta should have been brought on in the second half, like I mentioned, just to hold up the play, occupy a couple of the center backs' attention. Didn't do that. Distribute out wide to their attackers. All their offense was this: send it long over the top to Mbappe or Dembele. Let them run onto something. Or counterattack. They did nothing to counter anything that Spain was doing. Nothing. And then marking up wise, they did nothing. Like that Pedro Porro goal, he just ran right through. No one picked him up. Doué and Kone let him walk right through. That was horrible from France. Their marking up was horrible. Like, this France team did nothing. Like, they looked horrible yesterday. And Spain put them in a body bag yesterday. De La Fuente put Deschamps in a body bag yesterday. They destroyed them. That was a masterclass, a tactical masterclass from Spain and De La Fuente yesterday. That was great. Phenomenal performance. The players even showed up when it mattered. And the France players, the moment they got going, I don't know if you guys saw, the moment that they went down 1-0, they just started whining and bitching and complaining to the referee every 10 seconds. Deschamps did the same thing. And that's why I think France was soft yesterday. They gave up. France gave up after that second goal went in. They threw in the towel. There's a half hour to go, guys. They just threw it in. Their body language sucked. They're bitching and complaining. Deschamps was complaining. He complained about the ref after the game. France's players, they didn't mark up any player at all after it. They allowed Olmo, Rodri to turn in and out of space. Like, they had 10 yards that once they received the ball, they had 10 yards to do whatever they wanted. France did nothing. And I think this all boils back to Kylian Mbappe. And I said this yesterday on TikTok. I don't think Mbappe is a good leader. I think he's a horrible leader, because you look at the Mbappe teams that he's been with in the France side and with the Real Madrid side, even the PSG. The PSG side doesn't mean anything to me. If the only thing he won was Ligue 1 titles, that was the only thing he won. That's the only thing. He didn't win anything in the Champions League, and we'll get into his Champions League results here soon. But the 2018 France team, Mbappe was just there. He was just there to score goals. He was not the leader of the team. He was not. It was Griezmann. It was Giroud. It was Kanté. It was Paul Pogba. Those players were the players that led that team. Mbappe was not the leader of the team. He was just the young superstar that no one truly, I think some people heard of, but the world wasn't introduced yet to Kylian Mbappe. After 2018, the world was introduced to him. Think about the Euros, flamed out against Switzerland. You think about the Euros in 2024, flamed out against what I'm thinking of. Who am I thinking of? Spain again, that's what I should say. Then you look about what he's done at Real Madrid. Hasn't won anything yet. No Champions Leagues, no titles, no La Liga titles, no Super Cups, no nothing, no Copa del Rey's. PSG didn't win a Champions League there. All of a sudden, you get Kylian Mbappe out of the PSG side, they're winning stuff. So that is what I think Kylian Mbappe goes back to. He is not the leader that we expect him to be. I just don't think this team leads either. And I see your comment there, Michael. We'll get to it in a second. But this whole team, I don't think leads. I think they were solely focused on the individual superstar talent. That wasn't the case. It was all about the me. It was all about I. It was all about what can Mbappe do? What can Dembele do? They did nothing yesterday. Spain was the overall better unit, and that's why they won the match yesterday. That is why they look better. That's why they outplayed France in every aspect. The only aspect Spain didn't play them well was bitching at the ref. That was the only aspect of the game that they didn't play well in. That was the only time. And Spain clogged up the middle. They didn't even clog up the middle. They just outplayed them in the middle. They passed wherever they wanted. It was tiki-taka everywhere. Pass, goal. Like, that's exactly what it was. And France couldn't do a single thing last night. So as Michael says, Hey, I'm not so good in take a loss, so that's why I didn't watch you the last 2 days. Hey, it's all good. There's been a couple of normal fans that don't come in after losses, so you are all good. I was in Zurich yesterday to welcome back our heroes from USA. Spain had an almost perfect game. I don't know if you guys have seen all the welcome backs for all the teams. I think that's great. I think Norway had a good one. I didn't see any of the scenes from Switzerland. Egypt had a good one as well. But no, that's it. That's exactly why. And I look at again yesterday. I mean, France, again, no toughness on this team. They're soft. The moment that it got going, the moment the tough got going, they didn't know what to do. The moment they got punched in the mouth by Mikel Oyarzabal, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do all game. They had no answers. Their only answer was try to get him on the counterattack, try to get him up on the break, and didn't do anything. I also don't. By the way, Swiss, if you're still in the chat, Michael, I don't expect Fabian to come in the chat either. But if based on what Kylian Mbappe did, I don't. And especially if Messi wins today too, I don't believe Fabian is gonna come back in based on what happened. Yeah. So. I really, and then especially if Messi wins a World Cup, I really don't expect him. And by the way, Fabian and I argued about this very exact game that took place yesterday for months. So I don't expect him to come in at all today. But again, and I was the same way when Michigan and Arshel loses all the time.
I might come in later to make you eat that blazing wing on a watch party, though.
Yeah, we will be doing blazing wings later on today for the England one. But you know, I just watched the game, and it was just Spain just outplayed them, outmatched them, out physical them. There was just no sense of physicality, no sense of toughness at all from this France team. I think they should be a little bit ashamed of themselves because they played great the entire tournament, and then the moment that they got punched in the mouth, they absolutely faltered there. They folded, didn't do anything. And I think that's a testament of the mentality of this French team. I just think that there's a level of softness to this French team because they didn't do it. And I also think Deschamps had horrible in-game adjustments because guess what? He had no in-game adjustments. I bet you Deschamps Deschamps' like game plan for the last 8 years was this: just roll the ball out and just roll the ball out and just go play. Like there was no adjustment at all. It was the same lineup time and time again. What you swap Chouameni and Lacroix and Kone, that was about it. You swap Doué for Barcola. Like that was the only adjustments they made. Like he did nothing. He complained more to the referee than adjustments about his team. And I think that's a good thing why France is most likely moving on from him into Zinedine Zidane. I think that is the better move for him. But I just look at what France did yesterday, and they did nothing. Like, they were overall just awful in every aspect of the game. And I think that does fall a little bit on Kylian Mbappe. I think that falls a little bit on Dembele. And you could see those two players that, with the moment that it got going tough a little bit, the moment they couldn't really break anyone down, is they try to go individual as well. It was taking shots when they shouldn't have, and that's why I think they're overall a better overall team. Or Spain is compared to France. I mean, France can have all the superstars they want. They can have the best attack in the world, but they did nothing. They did nothing in that match at all yesterday, and it was great to see Spain. I do want to, again, I was going to compare, if France won this World Cup, I wanted to compare 2008 Spain to 2012 Spain, that 4-year window, or that 4-year window there, because they also won a World Cup, 2 Euros.
Yeah, Michael is actually bringing up 2010.
And I'll get there, and that's what I was going to compare, was that team. If France were to win the World Cup, I wanted to compare this French little regime here to, I know it's a little bit of a bigger sample size from 8 years, but I wanted to compare them to the Spanish side, because ultimately I think the Spanish side is from 2010, 2008 to 2012 was a better team than the current Argentina side that from 2020 to 2024, I think they're overall a better squad. But I wanted to compare France if we got to that point. But again, Spain obviously is the better side still over, because I think 2 World Cups trumps 1 World Cup in 2 years. I genuinely do. And Spain is like 2010, bad start, but get better every game. If Spain plays like this in the final again, they will win. I would like to see who they go up against in the final. I think if they were to play Argentina in the final, I think they take care of business. I think if they were to play England, I think that's a little bit of a trickier game. And knowing that they beat England in the Euro finals 2 years ago, I think that might play a little bit of a factor. But I'm just curious to see who they play against today. Again, we'll break down the game and predict who wins later on today in England, Argentina. I do want to get into the Kylian Mbappe discussion after this one, but no, great performance from Spain last night. France should be probably a little bit ashamed of what they've done. I think it's glad that they are moving on from Didier Deschamps, because that was horrible. Looks like Zinedine Zidane. By the way, the managers in the international game come 2030 are going to be great. Jurgen Klopp will be back in the mix. I'm sure Pep Guardiola will get Italy into the mix. And then you've got Zinedine Zidane with France. So, and then anyone else who pops in. So I think it's going to be a great managerial for international coaches come next World Cup. We're going to step aside here on Inside the Game. We are going to talk about no, please not. I want France, Argentina again. That will be like war, like the game tonight also will be war. You'll never get France, Argentina again in a World Cup. You probably won't get Mbappe versus Messi either. But let's take a break here. We'll talk about, is Kylian Mbappe a big-time player after this, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome to the National Soccer Network, your home for soccer. One destination, every match, every moment. Built for players, powered by passion. Live games, highlights, and more each and every day. Only on the National Soccer Network.
The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every goal changes everything. FanDuel is giving you a reason to root for every single one. Introducing Every Goal Pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goals means more bonus bets, and all you have to do is turn on your token. The US look like they are truly poised for a dream run at this point. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. 21 and over, select state. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 and over in DC, Kentucky, and Wyoming. Gambling gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. In Connecticut, call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. In Massachusetts, visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050. In New York, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Louisiana, call 1-877-770-7867. And listen to Orange Slices, sponsored by FanDuel Predicts, wherever you get your podcasts.
Great game footage starts with Vio. Now a pass deep and up front. With NSN, we can transfer your Vio footage into a professional broadcast. Elevate your Vio experience today. Call 248-525-2083.
Opportunity and a shot and a goal!
The National Soccer Network, your home for soccer.
All right, welcome into Inside the Game, episode 321. My name is Ryan Glinsky, James Schofield in the building as well. Just had some breaking news in the Detroit sports scene that just happened during the commercial break. Detroit Red Wings GM Steve Yzerman is stepping down as the GM. Thank God, because man, did he suck as GM. Good as a player, as James was mentioning, but man, did he suck as a GM. But again, if you want to follow us on Sports Nation TV, you guys can do that on our social medias as well. I will make a video on that. Michael does mention, I guess Argentina loses tonight. There will be a place for, technically if Argentina does lose, it would be a legendary third place game, Messi and Mbappe, on Saturday. That game takes place Sunday, obviously, is the final. But I want to get into this question today because I did some serious digging yesterday after the France game, because every time Mbappe loses in a big game scenario, it's always the same story with Kylian Mbappe. I want to ask the question, is Kylian Mbappe a big-time player? Because of all the games that I've seen that, whether Real Madrid or PSG or France get eliminated in, it's the same story with Mbappe. He just does nothing. He doesn't show up. Like yesterday, you could have told me Mbappe played, and I would not have expected Mbappe to play at all in that game. He didn't show up until very late into the game. And again, if you want to get your thoughts, if you think Kylian Mbappe is a big time player, you guys can throw that in the comments, and I'll get to them. But I did want to talk about this because I've got some big stats over his career. Kylian Mbappe, that is. I've got some big stats, and Kylian Mbappe is not a big time player. He isn't. Let me say that again. This isn't a knock about how good he really is. He's still one of the best players in the world. He's definitely in the conversation for one of the best players of all time when it's most likely all said and done. But as of July 15th, 2026, Kylian Mbappe is not a big time player. Let me tell you why. I don't want people to get seriously mad at me. This is probably why Fabi didn't show up today. But I want to just go over his time with PSG, so far what he's done with France and what he's done with Real Madrid. So with Mbappe, again, there's a chat poll as well if you want to vote on that as well. I want to go to PSG Champions League eliminating rounds, right? So in 2018, in the round of 16 against Real Madrid, no goals. Manchester United in 2019 round of 16. This is amongst the two games. In 2019, 1 goal against Manchester United in the round of 16. In the 2020 final against Bayern Munich, no goals. That was obviously the COVID shortened one as well. There was no crowd. There was like 1 game, single elimination, whatever it was. In the semifinal round against Man City in 2021, no goals. 2022 round of 16 against Real Madrid, 2 goals. 2023 round of 16 versus Bayern, no goals. 2024 semifinals, 0 goals versus Borussia Dortmund. Okay. And both of the Euro eliminators, no goals. He's only scored one goal in the Euros, by the way. That was a PK against Poland. Damn, hurts my soul on that one. And then obviously Argentina, he scored a hat-trick. 2 PKs, 1 goal in the final. He also didn't score at all yesterday or contribute anything at all yesterday versus Spain. I look at Real Madrid, 2025 quarterfinals where they got eliminated by my Arsenal Gunners. goose egg. This year against Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals, 2 goals. Then I also want to look at this. Barcelona, when it was in the league in 2026 this year, against Barcelona in the Super Cup final, and against Barcelona to win the league, no goals. 2025, again for Barca in the league, he did score 1 goal. He did score a PK. I want to run a stat for you. In the eliminating moments for Kylian Mbappe's team, he scores 1 goal every 233 minutes. So you're looking at roughly just about 2.5 games that this man does not score for his team. Just about, it's probably more around 3 games that this man does not score for his team in eliminated. So let me say that again. 1 goal in eliminating rounds, 1 goal every 233 minutes for Kylian Mbappe for his team's club or country. That is, in those games, in the run of play, 6 goals in 23 matches played. That's not very good. When the lights shine the brightest, Kylian Mbappe does not show up. It's the truth. And again, he can rack up goals against the Villarreals, the Getafes, the Osuenas, or whatever they're called, Atletico Bilbao. He can rack up goals against the small sides. He can rack up goals against the Marseilles of the world in PSG. But when the big moments for PSG, Real Madrid, or France, he does nothing. Let me say this as well, because I didn't even get to the World Cup one as well, because everyone talked about, well, he scored a hat-trick against in the World Cup final. Did Mbappe create the PK opportunities? He didn't. He didn't create the PK opportunities at all. He converted the PKs. Yeah, you still got to do it. Don't get me wrong. You still have to convert it. But he did not create those PK opportunities. He scored a great goal on the volley against Argentina. And also, if France went on and won the World Cup, who missed the golden opportunity against Emi Martinez in extra time? It wasn't him. It was Kolo Muani, he has had a fall from grace from 2022 to now. Plays for Tottenham. Swiss Michael says, I don't think he is. He still has to grow up and realize that he needs the team like the team needs him. Kane was like that too, but he grew up. You're exactly right, Swiss. You're exactly right, Swiss. Because this is what happens. This is what I like about it. Because you look at this, you look at Real Madrid personally. This is not a Real Madrid team that used to be what it was, with a very good team. Kroos, Modric, Casemiro, Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo, those types of players. They're just not there anymore. And then you look at Real Madrid now. It's a lot of individual players. Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe. Those players don't do anything. And then I look at this France team, like I said in 2018, a much different team. Because they were a team back in 2018. Pogba, Kanté, Kimpembe, Giroud. Giroud is the only player, he's the only striker in World Cup history to play every single match for in a World Cup team to win a World Cup and not register a goal on target as a striker, because Giroud knew what he needed to do. He knew that he wasn't going to score goals. He knew he had to drop back into the little pockets of space, connect passes left and right. Mbappe doesn't want to do that. Mbappe wants to get the ball and forward whenever he can, go one-on-one with whenever he can, and just create opportunities by himself and hit you on the counter.
And that's the problem right there.
Exactly. You're right, James. You're exactly right. And that is where France and Kylian Mbappe has struggled for club and country. You look at what he did at PSG. You can win every league on title you want if you're PSG. You're expected to win that every year. It's like when Bayern Munich goes on and wins the Bundesliga every year. Well, you're expected to do that because there is no team in your league to do so. There's no league. There's no other competition. So, okay, that you're expected to win that. But when you get into the Champions League, in his time, he only got past the semifinals. He only got into the semifinals 3 times in 7 years. And one of them was a shortened COVID Champions League run. So that's where it is. And you're right, Swiss, because I don't know if Zidane's going to hold up with that, because Zidane has held up many massive egos when he was at his time as Real Madrid. I think there's a lot of egos when it comes to this France side. That's why I think when Spain won yesterday, Spain was the overall unit compared to the individuals of France, because you saw the way that they played. Spain played more like a team. France wanted to get Dembele, Doué, Olise, Mbappe in one-on-one opportunities, and that wasn't the case. Spain said, let's put the ego aside here. We don't have the superstars. Let's just play as a unit. That's exactly what they did yesterday. And Mbappe it's almost the same story with Mbappe too. Whenever his teams get eliminated, it's always well, the team they didn't play as a team. Well, there's always the same common denominator in all of this. It's Mbappe every single time. Brazil played a little bit more like a team when Vinny Jr. was playing in this World Cup. You look a little bit more like in PSG, it was always, well, there's too many individuals. It's not a team. Mbappe has got to put the ego aside for a change. He's got to play as a team. It's not all about killing Mbappe anymore. You've got to show up. You've got to play as a team. And if you want to give up some responsibility, you're going to have to do that. And this France team was fully capable of giving up that opportunity, but that just wasn't the case this time around. And Spain put this whole team in a blender, and they didn't know what to do. LOL, Bayern haven't won after 13 seasons, and that was Kane's first season. I laughed. Yeah, that was funny. Swiss is when Bayern Munich brought in Harry Kane and they didn't win the Bundesliga. That was Bayern never losing, where they didn't lose a single game that year, and that was a very funny stat that happened to me as well. But the stats speak for themselves. Is Kylian Mbappe is not a big time player. The lights show up, he doesn't show up. It's as simple as that. And again, everyone will probably talk about the World Cup example. And fine, you scored a hat-trick. He scored in a World Cup final when he was a teenager. But again, that game was already done and dusted by the time he scored that goal. Like, don't get me wrong, that game was over. I think it was already 3-1 at that point. But that is the issue with Kylian Mbappe. He's got too big of an ego that he doesn't want to play as a team. It's all about playing as a team. It's not playing just about himself. And that's what Kylian Mbappe does. He plays a little bit more about himself. He's got too big of an ego. He doesn't want to take any accountability. I mean, if we're being honest, I don't think Mbappe's really had any blame, like, ever. Like, maybe Real Madrid a little bit this year and the year before, maybe just a little bit, but it felt like it fell a little bit more on Vinny Jr. In PSG, it felt like it felt a little bit more on Neymar and Messi. But Kylian Mbappe has never had blame, like, ever. At all. This dude has never had blame about why his team failed. Now should be the time, because you're the captain of the team, and since he's been a captain, France hasn't won anything. This team has been loaded time and time again. And Swiss, you're right, he does have a little bit maturing to do. He has some years left to eventually mature into the player that we all expect him to be. But this guy does nothing in the big time moments, and that's what hurts him. James, I think you had some thoughts about the game as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so on this Mbappe thing, I mean, here's the thing: if you want to be a truly dangerous superstar, obviously yes, take it to the goal, those one-on-one matchups, get through them. But at the end of the day, a truly dangerous superstar is one who, hey, I might not be getting to the goal. Let me find out who I need to work with to make it happen, as opposed to just trying to do it all yourself. Because I mean, you can get through, no problem, but as you saw yesterday, it doesn't matter how good you are. You can't face off against 11 people on your own. Yeah. You can't. It's just not possible. So if you're facing against a unit, you got to learn how to drop back, be a true captain and a leader, and set things up instead of just making it all about you.
That's right. This is really why Fabian's never shown up, and Fabian might never show up into the show again. But as we see here, it is a 75% of people say that Mbappe is not a big time player. 25% say yes, he is a big time player. Dave in the chat, welcome in. He says Mbappe is a big time ego. You're right, and he's got to put his ego aside. But you look at what happened at PSG. We had a Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. They got rid of those players, and PSG has won back-to-back Champions League finals after they got rid of all of those. They got rid of Mbappe. They won back-to-back Champions League finals. You look at Real Madrid. He got there right before Mbappe got there. They won a Champions League final. Mbappe gets there. They've done nothing. Mbappe has got to put the ego aside for a change, man. He has to, or else it's going to be the same story. You can put up empty stats. You can have empty calorie stats all over the place. You can rack up goals against a Real Sociedad. You can rack up goals against a Villarreal. But against Barcelona and La Liga, didn't show up. As Real Madrid, he didn't even score against Arsenal. That's the funniest part, dude. He didn't even score against Arsenal when he was the main guy. He didn't even score against us. That's sad, man. That's truly sad. And then this year against Bayern Munich, yeah, he scored a couple of goals, but I mean there was like 10 million goals scored in that amongst those two legs. So and then when France, yeah, he scored one Euros goal, and everyone has told me that the Euros are harder to win than the World Cup. Well, he hasn't won the harder of the two in the Euros over the World Cup. And then you look back at 2018, he was just a kid back then. He didn't have all the pressure, didn't have all the blame. It was more of Antoine Griezmann, more of Olivier Giroud, Pogba, N'Golo Kante. It was more of those guys. But Mbappe has got to put the ego aside, or else he's just not going to get anywhere with these teams. So he's got to shape something out. And that's why I think Real Madrid is stuck in a sticky situation as well. He does have a Jose Mourinho, and to Swiss's point, he is going to have to deal with the Jose Mourinho. I don't know how those two are going to work together. Obviously, he has to work with Zinedine Zidane. That's an international coach. He can't just get up and leave. But you look at the two. I said it when Jose Mourinho became the Real Madrid manager. How does he take care of business? How do those two get along with each other? Because Mourinho has a massive ego. I think in his Netflix documentary, he literally opens with, "You don't make Netflix documentaries about nobodies. You talk about it with winners. You make documentaries about winners." So there's a massive ego, obviously, with Jose Mourinho, and you have a big ego with Kylian Mbappe. So how will those two get along, and how will those two get along with France as well, with Zinedine Zidane and Kylian Mbappe? That is going to be the question for those two, because Mbappe has got to put the ego aside to get along with the Zinedine Zidane, with the Jose Mourinho, because those two, I don't know how those two are going to collide for club and for country. Maybe Haaland goes to Real and they kick Mbappe. I don't see Erling Haaland leaving. I mean, Manchester City's in a sticky situation as well. You have 119 looming on you. You have no Pep Guardiola. And that's why I thought 119 would never show up until Pep Guardiola left. That's still there. They lost Silva. They lost John Stones, but they did bring in an Elliot Anderson for 100-some-odd million. By the way, still sad about the Leandro Trossard news. I'm very sad about the Leandro Trossard news. And then you think about it, William Saliba might be out too, but I don't want to think about the club game right now. I don't want to think about the club game, but that is just the case for that one. That was the only thing that I hated about the game yesterday. I loved seeing France get put in a blender. I loved seeing Kylian Mbappe get put in a blender. But the only sad thing was that William Saliba went out with an injury. It looks like it was his back. There was rumors that he needed back surgery following the World Cup. Looks like he needs it maybe a little bit sooner, and hopefully he can get back into it. Would Haaland and Mbappe work in Madrid, says Swiss Michael? Again, get your thoughts in about the England-Argentina game, and also don't be sorry, Swiss. You don't gotta be sorry. You don't have to be sorry about the game. Again, if you want to get your thoughts in about it, smash the like button as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. But look, would Mbappe and Haaland work? I don't think they would work together. I just don't think those two, because Haaland I don't think has an ego. I think he might have a slight one, but he seems to be a little bit different than Kylian Mbappe. I think Mbappe wants all the glory. I think he wants the spotlight, whereas Haaland I don't think really cares about the spotlight. I don't think he really cares about being the main guy, but Haaland also understands what you got to do to win. I think he would understand taking a little bit of not all of the load. He might have to spread the wealth a little bit to Kylian Mbappe. I don't know if Mbappe would want to spread the wealth with him. I don't know if he would want to. I think he would just want to have all the glory, but Haaland would have to take a lot of the spotlight. We've got Jesus Alvarado says the only time I will support England. He is up against Argentina. We will get into the England-Argentina debate, a little bit of a breakdown predictions right after this. But again, continue to get your thoughts in about the matchup here today and also about yesterday's matchup as well. We're going to step aside. We'll talk about England-Argentina right after this. Swiss Michael already, F Argentina, but I don't like England too, so it's going to be a tough game for me. LOL, I like Tuchel. So, Germany probably is rooting for Argentina in this sense as well. But we're going to step aside here for a quick second. We'll talk about England, Argentina right after this, so don't go anywhere.
Great game footage starts with Vio. Now a pass deep and up front. With NSN, we can transfer your Vio footage into a professional broadcast. Elevate your Vio experience today. Call 248-525-2083.
Opportunity and a shot and a goal!
The National Soccer Network, your home for soccer. Welcome to the National Soccer Network, your home for soccer. One destination, every match, every moment. Built for players, powered by passion. Live games, highlights, and more each and every day. Only on the National Soccer Network.
All right, back on Inside the Game, episode 321. Again, continue to get your thoughts in there as well about the matchups here today. Here we've got Hand of God Part 2, maybe. No, I don't think it's going to happen. If there was a Hand of God, obviously that would get reviewed, and it would show that he isn't. It would be overturned. So that is just the reality of it. Let's see here. England, Argentina, though. We've got a couple of comments coming in about it. Let's see here. Germany cheers for Argentina because of historic reasons. That's probably two. That's probably another reason. And then we have, let's see here. Jesus says, I'm curious to see how the officiating will be with England on the other side. Again, I also said about it is I think England is unriggable at this point. They are too big of a brand to get rigged. You can do this against Cape Verde. You can do this against Switzerland. You could do this against, no offense, Swiss Michael, but you could do it against them. You could do this against who's the other team that they play? Egypt. You could do this against them, but you cannot do this to in England. So that's what I don't think the officiating is going to be as fishy as people think. I say we're going to see a real hard match, many hard fouls and red cards. I mean, I wouldn't mind a couple of red cards, but you also got to think for the final as well. Fabian is in the chat. I'm glad he showed up today. Did not expect Fabian to show up today. His man Kylian Mbappe got put in a body bag yesterday. By the way, this I hope he saw the Kylian Mbappe topic not too long ago. But Kylian Mbappe, is he a big time player? No, he is not. He says hit the like button though, so smash the like button if you haven't already. FIFA, fix it for Argentina. Any team but Argentina. Argentina are like the Detroit Pistons. I don't know how we're the Detroit Pistons. We don't get calls. I will tell you that. He just got in. Well, I hope you rewind a little bit into that one. Jesus says, if England scores first, I think they will rattle Argentina pretty bad because, like you said, it's hard to rig against a nation as big as England in this stage. I would agree. Fabian says, he plays better than you, Ryan. Well, I sure hope so. He's a professional athlete. I'm not a professional athlete. Yeah, no, that is the comments. Going to get your comments in there as well. But anyway, Swiss says, don't worry. Swiss was the better team. We would have won it in 11v11. Well, I think you guys got rigged. I definitely could have seen it. But anyway, let's get into a bit of a breakdown for Argentina versus England for this matchup. Again, both of these teams are coming off of long, extended games. Both went into extra time, 120 minutes each. England may have been a little bit harder because it was a little bit of a closer game. Argentina did seal things up at the end of the match. So let's get into it about this matchup. I think what the most important thing for England is to box Lionel Messi. Bayern Munich did this back in the day against Barcelona. This was Pep's Bayern Munich against Barcelona back in the day. I think this was like 2013. 2014, 2012, maybe. I don't know the exact one, but it was. I think it was the year where they thrashed. I think Borussia Dortmund beat Real Madrid, got to the final, and then the same thing. So that is what I think it was. He hopes his boy Bellingham shows up. Well, something about Real Madrid players that just don't show up in the big moments. The Arsenal players show up in the big moments. I'll tell you that. But I look at the matchup. I think you've got to box in Messi a little bit because that's exactly what Bayern did to Messi back in the day against the Barcelona side, where they won, I think, 4-5-0, something like that. And that is what they did in that matchup. So, by the way, no members only here today. I just want to point that out. We've got to get to something here with the USL 2. So we can't have any members only here today. Apologize for that. We will have members only back on Friday. But you look at the matchup. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about it on Friday. But you look at the matchup here today. I think you've got to box in Messi. Arsenal sucks. Just ask James.
Hey,
will the Arsenal players show up in big moments? Bukayo Saka has. Saliba.
I've already sided with Arsenal before.
Fabian, you take Saliba out of the game. All of a sudden, the game changes in favor of Spain. I'm just saying, maybe Big Bad Mbappe could show up in a big time moment. He didn't do that at all. Which, by the way, Fabian, I want you to know that the stat that I read off on it is Kylian Mbappe in elimination games for club and country. He scored 1 goal every 233 minutes. Yet people want to say that he is going to be in the GOAT conversation. Clearly, GOATs play and score much more goals rather than that. But I think you got to box in Messi. I think England will win this game. I really think England wins this game because their midfield, I think, is better. I think Argentina has limped their way into the semifinals. I think they had a much weaker path coming into this one. You think about Cape Verde, you think of Egypt, you think of Switzerland. England's path, Congo gave them a run for the money. Had to go into the Azteca. They were down a man. They still pulled through. Then you had to play against a Norway side. But you look at England. They've got to box in Messi. They've got to create. I think if you take away Messi, I think they win this game really because Lautaro Martinez. You look at Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez scored an absolute banger, but those two I don't think have really done anything. I don't think those two could take over a game if I'm being honest. Compared to them, the midfield I think is not as good, not even close to what England's midfield is. I think Enzo Fernandez or McAllister or Paredes just aren't as good compared to the Elliot Andersons, the Declan Rices, the Kobe Mainus. I mean, I don't know if Declan Rice is going to play fully here tonight because he is coming off of an illness injury. But that is just where it is. Hey, Fabian, did Kylian
Fabian's just starting shit.
Hey, Fabian, did Kylian Mbappe score a goal against Arsenal in the Champions League quarterfinals? Oh, wait, he didn't. He didn't, actually. Oh, they got shut out on the road and they only scored one goal. I forgot about that. Oh, hey, by the way, did Mbappe score any goals in the Champions League leading up to when they got eliminated by Bayern Munich? Oh, no, that was Fede Valverde who took over for that one. Wait, did he score against Atletico in the Champions League round of 16 leading up to that Arsenal matchup? No, he didn't. Exactly. He's not a big time. He's not a big time player. That's a simple fact. Kylian Mbappe is not a big time player. Jeez, you guys are getting into it. Wait, I saw something about Queen. Hold on. JV Flores comes in immediately. My bad. If I'm late, I was on Marathon listening to the greatest band of all time, Queen.
Yes.
But just a quick reminder to the Argentines.
Yes.
The language spoken in the Falklands is English. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Greatest band of all time. Exactly.
Without the movie, they aren't
Boom.
popular. Simple as that. Without the movie, they aren't popular. But again, back to England, Argentina. You've got to, if you're Argentina, you need someone to step up today that's not named Lionel Messi. And I don't know if Lautaro Martinez or Julian Alvarez are capable of doing that, and I don't think they are. And you look at the way that they have played. They played a horrible 70 minutes against Egypt. They didn't play particularly well against Cape Verde. They didn't play well against Switzerland, if I'm being honest. I thought Mbolo's red card was a bit harsh. I don't think he should have been sent off. I think he probably should have had a yellow card amongst those two challenges, or the simulation and then the challenge. I think he should have had a yellow. I think that's fair. But I think a red card is rather harsh. You look about what they did against Egypt. The goal that they took off the board, I don't think that was rather fair. But again, I can't really feel bad for Egypt because they gave up 3 goals in the final 20 minutes of the match. So that's what I think. And then England, I think if they just play their game, I think that they're better than Argentina. I think their depth is better. I think their overall starting 11 is better. And I think England is on a path to get to the World Cup final. I mean, they've been short time and time again recently. 2018, they lost in the semis. 2022, they lost in the quarters. And you think about the Euros as well, where they lost in the Euro finals both times. So I think they're on the pathway of finally winning a major trophy, England that is. And I think that's exactly where it is. And I think that's where they're going. I think they're a bit of a team of destiny, England. Now, I don't want England to win, but I think they do win tonight. I think that is a simple fact. I think that I do believe that they win here tonight. But I apologize for missing into your comments, by the way. Another thing to think about as well is that because England's a bigger brand, their tactics will be way better compared to the smaller nations Argentina face. I would agree with that. That's why I think Argentina has just limped their way. I say if England has the ball, they just need to play in Argentina's half, then play versus 10 because Messi don't do defense. Yeah, that's fair. No one has better tactics than the Swiss coach. I would say Pep Guardiola probably is better. I think Arteta's probably better. I think maybe you're saying international wise, maybe. I think De La Fuente is better than the Swiss coach. I would say that. You were talking about the season is starting again. Let's see what happens this season. Well, maybe if you spent £1 billion and maybe you won something, but you haven't won La Liga or any of the cups recently. Or a Champions League, by the way, which you guys won a Champions League. You bring in Kylian Mbappe, all of a sudden you can't win shit. Has FIFA announced who the refs are going to be yet in the FIFA versus England game?
Yeah, FIFA versus England.
Wow. Give JV a horn for that. Give him the yelling. I hope all the referees are from Argentina.
I do have the list.
Yeah, who are the referees tonight?
Yeah, so currently right now we've got Ishmael Alfeth, I think is the name. Mm-hmm. And then we've got 2 other Americans. We've got Corey Parker, Kyle Atkins, and then we have Italy with Maurizio Mariana.
Gotcha.
As the fourth
Okay. Well,
official.
that's as far as Italy's
3 Americans and 1 Italian.
That's as far as Italy has gotten in the last like 5 years of a world, or the last like 5 World Cups. So that makes sense. Yeah, no, Swiss, I was just thinking Bolo should have had just a yellow card. If the challenge probably first was a yellow card, I think the simulation was probably should have been just a warning. I think that's what it should have been.
Fabian says you've been crying a river like Justin Timberlake.
How Arsenal won a Premier League title. The Michigan Wolverines were the greatest college basketball team of all time.
I mean, there is that, yeah.
Like I don't know how I'd be crying. Steve Yzerman is now stepping down as the GM of the Red Wings. Like this is, I don't know what I'd be crying about. I don't know. I mean, the USA lost, but again, that was kind of expected. So
James rocking the Bieber fever today. It's getting cut. All right.
By the way,
haven't had
that
time.
World Cup halftime show sucks.
Oh my gosh.
If the World Cup is not rigged, I see England winning 3-1 easy. Guys, it's not rigged. All FIFA wanted was to get the matchups that we got here in the semifinals. That's what he wanted. I'll get to that one in a second. I see what he said. But FIFA wanted the matchups in the semifinals and into the finals. We don't have we have the matchups we want. We don't have anything. They got exactly what they want. We don't have any small teams. Let's see here. The Michigan Wolverines suck. Well, the football team won a national championship 3 years ago. The basketball team just won a national championship.
Yeah,
I would
aren't
say
the Wolverines still the winningest?
Yeah, they are the most. Yeah, they are the
team
winningest
still?
college football program of all time.
Yeah, that's
as well.
right.
That is
Okay.
true.
Yeah, sure.
That is true.
Oh yeah, and we're also named after a freaking animal that will tear your freaking face off. But okay,
That is true. That is also true. Hockey isn't a sport. I would say it is a sport.
it is absolutely. It's one of the most full
okay,
contact
thi-
sports
this-
of all time, in my opinion.
Swiss Michael is just coming down with low hanging fruit. The Lions still not playing Super Bowl. Yeah, we know that. Like,
Yeah, I was saying, like,
know
Lions
we're
are fair
bad.
game. Like,
We-
the running joke is every year we just say it's our year, even though there's no chance in hell we're ever going to win.
Exactly. Like, we know we're ass.
The only time we're going to win a championship is if they do not have a Super Bowl anymore and we switch to, like, golf rules and it's the lowest score wins. Like, that's the only way we're winning a championship.
Yeah, that is, like, I hope you guys realize, like, we know the Lions are ass. Like,
He did not. Oh.
Bears.
Where's the kick button? Somebody said Ohio's better. Ohio State's better.
Fabian? Hey, Fabian, when Ohio State won their national championship, they lost to the worst Michigan football team of all time. So
Yeah.
there's an asterisk in front of that. Hockey's the biggest sport after NFL. Duh. I don't think that's
I
true.
think they're just trying to trigger us all.
I think
somebody said go Bears. How's that even triggering? The Bears are the Lions. Again.
If you take out 1985, the Bears are essentially the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
You take out 1980, like the Bears are the Lions with one extra Super Bowl.
They're the
appearance that they
Lions
lost.
with an even worse accent. That's all it is.
Yeah, probably, and their stuff, their food isn't as good as ours. I'll tell you that. Jesus says, "Do you think that there will ever be a small team or a secondary team that makes it to the final?" Well, what are we talking about as a small team? Because Spain has won a World Cup in 2010. They may have been considered a secondary team because they've never won a World Cup. I think with the dual nationals, though, it's evening the playing fields. Morocco may be considered a secondary team, and they could have gotten into the finals in 2022. So I think we could see that. I think we just have to define who the secondary team is. I will say, Fabian, I think your Giants are going to get pretty good with Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo if he's not dead, and all of those guys. I will say that. Swiss lost 3 World Cup finals in a row without a score and a goal. Trust me, I know. Suffer in sport. No, why would I want to be Jim Tressel? He's a cheat. Why would I want to be Jim Tressel, Fabian? Why would I want to do that? I'm just saying, though, guys. I am just saying that we know the Lions are ass. That's not a joke. That's not a running, like, oh my God, we got you guys. No, we know we're ass. The Wolverines have won 2 national championships in 3 years, despite having 24 scandals in 8 years. We still somehow win stuff. I don't know how that's possible. But no, just to wrap things up here, because we do gotta cut out a little bit earlier here today. I do believe England wins today. I think they beat Argentina. I think they're going to win. I'm gonna say I'm going to say they win 3-1 over Argentina. I do believe they win today. You can catch that watch party here. We will be doing some Blazing Wings if you guys want to see that. We will be doing some Blazing Wings for that. I do believe England beats Argentina. I think this will be Messi won't get to the final, and I think obviously Spain will beat England in the World Cup final. Now, who do I want to win? I want Argentina to win because I just don't want England to win. Which, by the way, I hope Dave is in the chat still because I've been seeing all the Scottish fans love England with all the kilts and all the flags flying around England. Yeah, that's why. God saves the king. Okay. But anyway, Dave is upset about it. Hey, Dave, I don't want that. I don't want England to win. However, I think they win because I think they've looked better, and that's a funny prediction. That's a funny prediction, Swiss. 0-0 after 120 minutes. Messi misses misses the PK. Potentially.
I mean, that could happen.
If that happens, man, that'd be cinema. But again, you can catch that watch party right here. Let's get into question day real quick before. Again, we got to cut out earlier here today, but we will see you guys for the watch party, England versus Argentina. Hey, we'll be back to more scheduled programming tomorrow. By the way,
Yeah.
we will get back to the regular scheduled programming.
Yep. So we got our question of the day here. I'm doing the dream teams here, and I was kind of thinking back when I was watching playing Madden, and they have like those fantasy matchups that you could do. So here is what I want to know from you, Ryan. What two historic teams would you want to see play a match together?
In any sport, or just soccer?
No. Let's do any sport. Let's do it.
Well, a soccer one just popped in my head immediately. Is I would want to see. I'm gonna go international. I want to see 2010 Spain. I'm gonna go 2010 Spain because they won the World Cup. I want to see them against 2018 France. That's who I want to see them go up against. Fabian, we can't do that. I want to see those two international teams go up against each other. For another sport, though, I would like to see. I would probably want to see. I want to see a Miami Heat LeBron James team versus the KD Golden State Warriors. That's what I'd want to see because we'd finally get the whole, well, LeBron didn't have help. He had Kyrie and Kevin Love, and they had KD, Clay, Draymond, and Steph. So that's what I would want to see.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. I got one just because I just want to see it. I just want to see the Wolverines face off against the Lions. Just once.
Why?
Because, okay, look, you've got the best college team, like, in the entire sport, right? Versus the worst professional team in the entire sport. I want to see who wins.
Well, you'd probably want to see the worst one versus. You want to see the Michigan isn't the best and best team. And
not right now. I'm saying like.
Okay, sure, we can see it. A couple comments in real quick. You guys are probably right. I'd love to see MJ versus LeBron. 2010 Spain versus 2002 Brazil, says Fabian. That'd be a very good one. MJV says MJ's Bulls versus the 2016 Warriors. And in the basketball GOAT debate, Draymond Green is the GOAT. Maybe at kicking people and getting technical fouls. I can see that. 2002 Miami Hurricanes versus the actual Wolverines. Okay. Jordan Bulls versus LeBron's LA Lakers. I think they would win that one. I think to be honest though, I think 2010 Spain would win. I think the Warriors would beat MJ, and I think the 2002 Hurricanes would probably win, and I think the Jordan Bulls would beat the LeBron LA
the Bulls
Lakers.
are taking it.
But anyway, that's gonna end it here today. We will go longer tomorrow. We'll get back to regular scheduled programming tomorrow. We got to step aside here that we got to cut out early. But again, appreciate everyone in the comments. JV, Swiss, Fabian, Dave, Jesus came in as well. But appreciate every single one of you that came in the chat here today. Really appreciate the interaction. Smash the like button. Just trying to get 5 here today. But anyway, we will see you guys later on for the watch party. We'll be doing some Blazing Wings. So if you want to see that, it'll be like $20 for a Blazing Wing. So anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Inside the Game, or we'll see you guys later today, and then we'll see you tomorrow for Inside the Game. All right, everybody, welcome back into Inside the Game podcast.
You are a soccer nation.
Have such a deep appreciation for hyper-local, community-based, lower-level soccer. There's going to be millions of fans over here that want to watch and consume as much football as they can.
What you are doing is important. And this is all about, like I said, spreading the gospel. It takes a village, right?
No, I just really appreciate being on here and you being able to provide this platform for, us and all those people grinding away at the lower leagues, just trying to make great things happen. So I really appreciate you and you guys know what you're doing, and